received a very touching question. Simple, deep. As a Christian woman, how do I think rightly about recurrent miscarriages? That's the question. And my answer won't do justice to the many levels within that question, but I hope what I say can at least open some doors into places of light. First thing I would say is that part of thinking rightly, which she's asking, is recognizing that recurrent miscarriages are a great sorrow. We are talking about the loss of children. We're talking about the loss of all the hopes that parents rightly invest in having children and raising children. And so here's a woman who is experiencing the heartache of that process, not just once. Once did happen to Nan and me. Our first child miscarried. It was heartache. We subsequently were able to have children, and that is a joy. My heart really goes out to a woman who has had to go through the loss, and then the hopes, and the loss, and then the hopes, and the loss. And her heart should grieve. God did not make us stones, He made us people. Second thought, you have company in the pages of Scripture with women who experienced barrenness and lived in cultures that the bearing of children was a high honor. Our culture is odd in that way, where having kids is almost viewed more as like, well, is that one of your life choices and take it or leave it? Though I think, so it's one of the graces of God that deep, deep down people know that children are a tremendous gift. And but in ancient cultures, children were your future. They were your livelihood. They were your retirement plan. They were your joy and crown. And you think of the stories in the Bible of Hannah in the beginning of 1 Samuel, of Elizabeth in the beginning of the Gospel of Luke, of Sarah, and the difficulty that each of these women had in conceiving. Of Rachel, similar. There's a number of women, very prominent women in the Bible, who had difficulty with conception. And I think of those stories, the one that I have thought most long and hard and deep on has been the story of Hannah, and the way in which she brought her grief to God, and her cry was heard. Now, in each of these cases, what can be hard for a woman such as the one who's written, the cry was heard in a way that brought children. And for her, her cry may be heard in a way that does not bring children. And that is something, to find and hear the ways in which, whether children are given or not, that God's mercy is towards her. I don't think it would be much of an exaggeration to say that a good part of the Bible is written by and for people who are struggling with hopes that they don't see realized. There is a sense that the whole Bible, and obviously I'm speaking now in a broader sense than just the problem of infertility or inability to carry to term, but that the whole Bible is a story of hopes that also have grief and groaning because they're not yet fulfilled. And the Bible is a story of hope. It's a story of hope that, in a sense, even the barren, even the widow or the widower, even the orphan, even the person who is isolated and lonely is given friends and family and parents and children and company and a body of a family. God puts the desolate in families, as one of the Psalms says. And so my encouragement to this woman is to take two things very seriously. And one is the honest heartache, and two is the deeper goodness of God for those that live with the world not being right.